Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: options traders snap up bullish bets on Li Auto ahead of results. Crazy rich Asians succession struggles, hunting in Japan, 6 weekend reads. Microsoft offers AI solutions to FWD in new 4-year partnership. What changes are taking place in China's $232 trillion repo market? India has arrived. Why Modi's economy offers a real alternative to China. Options traders snap up bullish bets on Li Auto ahead of results. Bloomberg. Ahead of Li Auto Incorporated's fourth quarter results, the daily trading volume of call options for the company's Hong Kong-listed shares hit the highest level since November 2022. This reflects optimism over further upside in the stock, despite its already significant gain this month. Li Auto is expected to report its first profitable year, with adjusted net profit estimated at $1.3 billion, compared to a loss of $290 million the previous year. Analysts believe that the company's gross margin for the fourth quarter will be around 21% and its operating margin will be 5 to 6%. Cheaper batteries and greater scale benefits have helped offset pricing pressure for the automaker. Crazy rich Asians succession struggles, hunting in Japan, 6 weekend reads. South China Morning Post. This article provides a summary of various news stories from Asia and beyond. Some of the highlights include an article about the struggle with succession among the crazy rich Asians, an article about Philippine politician Marcos Jr. rebranding his family name, a story about families of British POWs killed by Japan in World War II demanding an apology, and an article about hunting becoming trendy in Japan. The article also mentions a U.S. artist's film about Hong Kong. Microsoft offers AI solutions to FWD in new 4-year partnership. South China Morning Post. Microsoft has extended its partnership with insurance provider FWD Group to provide generative artificial intelligence (AI) innovations. FWD will gain access to Azure, Microsoft's cloud computing platform, which supports OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT technology. FWD hopes to develop more generative AI-related solutions over the next 4 years with Microsoft. The partnership highlights Microsoft's focus on Asia as companies race to integrate cutting-edge AI technology into their products and services. FWD plans to use generative AI tools to build AI fraud detection models and provide better service to customers through virtual human solutions. What changes are taking place in China's $232 trillion repo market? South China Morning Post. The People's Bank of China, PBOC, and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, HKMA, have announced a number of measures to deepen financial cooperation between the two institutions. 2 of the measures focus on strengthening the bond market, the largest outside of the U.S. The first involves expanding the list of eligible collateral in the RMB liquidity facility in Hong Kong to include yuan-denominated bonds sold by the Chinese government and policy banks. This will enable investors to use these bonds to bridge intraday funding gaps. The second measure involves wider access to the onshore repo market, pending legal and regulatory fine-tuning. This will allow foreign investors to conduct onshore repo transactions to obtain liquidity at a lower cost, according to a senior HKMA official. The opening up of the onshore repo market is seen as a significant last step in the liberalization of China's capital account. India has arrived. Why Modi's economy offers a real alternative to China. CNN. India's stock market is hitting record highs, and its economy is expected to grow by 6.5% next year, according to the International Monetary Fund. India is spending billions on infrastructure projects, which is attracting foreign investment and companies looking to diversify their supply chains away from China. India's stock market value is expected to more than double to $10 trillion by 2030, making it impossible for large global investors to ignore, according to a report by Jefferies. The bullish sentiment towards India is in contrast to China, which is grappling with economic challenges such as an accelerated flight of capital and a slump in its stock markets. China's stock markets have lost more than $5 trillion in market value since recent peaks in 2021, and its foreign direct investment plunged last year. Analysts say that India is the only country that can replace China in terms of driving global growth. Hong Kong stocks drop as traders await Baidu, Li Auto earnings to recharge rally. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong stocks fell for a second day as traders held off bets after a 3-week rally. Alibaba Group slipped 0.6% to 74 Hong Kong dollars and 10 cents, and Tencent lost 1.6% to 286 Hong Kong dollars and 20 cents. Baidu slid 1.8% to 107 Hong Kong dollars and 90 cents, while online game operator NetEase retreated 0.7% to 166 Hong Kong dollars and 70 cents. EV maker Li Auto added 0.3% to 139 Hong Kong dollars and 50 cents. Robeco's China Quant Fund goes boring to pummel peers in sell-off. Bloomberg. Robeco's conservative China A-share fund has outperformed its peers, returning 5.3% over the past year, while the MSCI China A-share index fell 21%. The fund's success is attributed to its heavy weighting in low-volatility stocks, such as banks and railway companies. The top holdings of the fund include Industrial and Commercial Bank of China and Agricultural Bank of China. Robeco also runs an emerging markets quant fund with an overweight position in China that has beaten its peers. The fund's China weighting is in line with the index weighting, as holding an underweight position could introduce country risk that could weigh on performance. Hong Kong's rainy day future fund now makes up biggest share of city's reserves. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's financial reserves are shrinking and the city's rainy day future fund is making up the largest share of the pool. Experts have warned that the government is likely to dip into the future fund earlier than expected due to the struggling economy. They have urged officials to handle the problem carefully or even set up rules for unlocking the fund. The Hong Kong economy is struggling and needs to find a way out, so the fund needs to be used prudently or it will be in danger, said economist Simon Lee Shupa. The Future Fund was set up in 2016 and consists of an initial endowment of 219.7 billion Hong Kong dollars, $28.1 billion, from the city's land fund and periodic top-ups from budget surpluses. It amounted to less than 20% of the city's reserves in 2019, with the proportion rising to nearly 40% in 2023, and it is set to make up almost half this year. Operating reserves have fallen from nearly 60% to under 20% over the same period because of shrinking government revenue and rising expenses. Mid-levels on sale, buyers hunt foreclosed luxury Hong Kong homes amid distress. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong investors and homebuyers are purchasing foreclosed luxury homes at bargain prices, indicating a growing appetite as the global interest rate hike cycle ends. The properties are being sold at prices below their valuations, with banks seizing homes due to missed mortgage repayments. Hong Kong's stock market has rebounded this month, leading to a turnaround in sentiment, and there is hope that the government will introduce measures to boost the property market in the upcoming budget. Property transactions in Hong Kong fell to a 28-year low in 2021. My bank manager stole $1.9 million from my account. BBC. An Indian woman has accused a manager at ICICI Bank of defrauding her by siphoning off 160 million Indian rupees, $1.9 million, from her account. Shveta Sharma alleges that a bank official created fake accounts, forged her signature, took out debit cards and check books in her name to withdraw money from her accounts. She says she never suspected anything was wrong because the branch manager would give me proper receipts for all the deposits on bank stationery, regularly send me email statements from his ICICI account and sometimes even come over with folders of documents. The fraud came to light in early January when a new employee at the bank offered to get Ms. Sharma better returns. She then discovered that all her fixed deposits had vanished. In a statement sent to the BBC, the bank said it had offered to deposit 92.7 million Indian rupees into her account with a lien, pending the outcome of the investigation. But Ms. Sharma has rejected the offer. It's a lot less than the 160 million Indian rupees they owe me, and the lien would effectively mean the account would be frozen until the case is closed by the police, which could take years. Hong Kong prepares transition taxonomy to boost green finance hub ambitions. South China Morning Post. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority, HKMA, is working on a transition finance framework to determine whether activities can help carbon-intensive firms achieve net zero emissions. The framework will be part of the city's Green Taxonomy scheme, which classifies environmentally friendly and sustainable economic activities. The HKMA will develop the transition taxonomy as part of a broader initiative by the Green and Sustainable Finance Cross-Agency Steering Group, which aims to boost green and sustainable finance in Hong Kong. The HKMA is also planning to hold a climate finance event with the Dubai Financial Services Authority to increase transition finance flows between the Middle East and Asia. Hong Kong football star slams city chiefs, urges legalized gambling on matches. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's footballers are being let down by a governing body lacking vision and urgency, Taipei midfielder Philip Chan Shuquan has said. Chan, who was one of Hong Kong's top performers at the Asian Cup in Qatar, said the sport was in a stalemate in the city and the Football Association and government gave players insufficient support. He also called for the ban on gambling on local football to be relaxed, arguing that legalizing gambling would attract investment and increase public interest. More foreign investors to get a crack at China's repo market in latest tweak. South China Morning Post. China plans to widen access to its onshore repo market to a larger pool of foreign institutional investors. This will allow foreign investors that already have access to the interbank bond market to enter the repo market, the most liquid part of the country's financial markets. The move is considered a transformative step towards further easing controls on interest rates and capital flows. The effective date for the new measures has not yet been decided. Asia stocks eye mixed open after U.S. rally stalls, markets wrap. Bloomberg. Asian stocks are set for a mixed open as traders brace for a flood of economic data this week, including Chinese activity gauges and the Federal Reserve's preferred measure of inflation. This week, investors will be bracing for the impact from heavy treasury and corporate issuance and month-end positioning. Vancouver firefighter recovering abroad after losing leg to flesh-eating infection. The Globe and Mail. An assistant fire chief from Vancouver Fire Rescue Services is recovering in a Hong Kong hospital after contracting a rare bacterial infection while on vacation with his family. Christopher One had to have part of his leg amputated due to the infection. His family suspects that the infection started in Singapore as One began to feel symptoms while on his way back home to Hong Kong. One's partner Marie Hui says that he is lucky to be alive and is grateful for the support from their family and community. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and insights from around the globe. Today, we have an exciting mix of stories, covering topics from the stock market to artificial intelligence, and even a heartwarming tale of recovery. So let's dive right in. Starting off, we have news about Li Auto Incorporated, the Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer. Despite already seeing significant gains this month, options traders are snapping up bullish bets on Li Auto ahead of its fourth quarter results. Analysts expect the company to report its first profitable year, reflecting the optimism surrounding the stock. It seems like Li Auto is charged up and ready to go. Moving on, we have a roundup of weekend reads, which cover a wide range of stories from succession struggles among the crazy rich Asians to hunting becoming trendy in Japan. We also have an article about India's growing economy offering a real alternative to China, and a piece on the changes taking place in China's repo market. It's always fascinating to see the diverse stories that emerge from Asia and beyond. Next up, we have Microsoft extending its partnership with insurance provider FWD Group to provide generative artificial intelligence (AI) innovations. FWD will gain access to Microsoft's AI technology, which will help them develop AI fraud detection models and provide better service to customers. Looks like Microsoft is putting its AI prowess to good use. In other financial news, the People's Bank of China and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority have announced measures to deepen financial cooperation between the two institutions. These measures aim to strengthen the bond market and provide wider access to the onshore repo market. The opening up of the onshore repo market is seen as a significant last step in the liberalization of China's capital account. It's all about strengthening those financial ties. Shifting gears, we have an interesting contrast between Hong Kong and India's stock markets. While Hong Kong stocks fell for a second day, India's stock market is hitting record highs, and its economy is expected to grow by 6.5% next year. India's spending on infrastructure projects and its attractiveness to foreign investors are driving this bullish sentiment. Looks like India is giving China a run for its money. Speaking of Hong Kong, we have news about Robeco's China Quant Fund, which has been outperforming its peers by pummeling the market during the recent sell-off. The fund's strategy of focusing on low volatility stocks seems to be paying off. Sometimes, going boring can lead to exciting results. Now, let's turn our attention to Hong Kong's financial reserves. With the city's economy struggling, the Rainy Day Future Fund is making up the largest share of the reserves. Experts have warned that the government may need to dip into the fund earlier than expected, and careful handling of the situation is crucial. It seems like Hong Kong is facing stormy weather, and they'll have to navigate it wisely. On a more positive note, we have news about investors and homebuyers in Hong Kong purchasing foreclosed luxury homes at bargain prices. As the global interest rate hike cycle ends, sentiment is turning around, and hopes are high for measures to boost the property market in the upcoming budget. It looks like there may be some silver linings in the property market after all. In a shocking story, an Indian woman has accused a manager at ICICI Bank of defrauding her of a staggering $1.9 million. The alleged fraud involved the creation of fake accounts and forged signatures. It's a startling reminder that even the most trusted institutions can sometimes have bad apples. Moving on, we have news about Hong Kong's efforts to boost its green finance hub ambitions. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is working on a transition finance framework to help carbon-intensive firms achieve net zero emissions. This initiative is part of a broader drive to promote green and sustainable finance in the city. It's time to go green and make some green. In the realm of sports, Hong Kong football star Philip Chan Shu Quan has criticized the city's football association and government for their lack of support for players. He has also called for the ban on gambling on local football to be relaxed, arguing that it would attract investment and increase public interest. Looks like Chan is ready to kickstart some changes in the world of Hong Kong football. In a significant development, China plans to widen access to its onshore repo market for a larger pool of foreign institutional investors. This move is seen as a transformative step towards further easing controls on interest rates and capital flows. It looks like China is opening its doors wider to the world. Finally, we have news about Vancouver Assistant Fire Chief Christopher Won, who is recovering in a Hong Kong hospital after contracting a rare bacterial infection. Won had to have part of his leg amputated due to the infection. Our thoughts and best wishes go out to him and his family during this challenging time. We hope for a speedy recovery. That wraps up our news for today. I hope you enjoyed this whirlwind tour of the latest stories from around the world. Now, it's time for your thoughts and questions. What do you make of these news stories? Do you have any burning questions or insightful comments? Let's hear them. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email,